I have gotten my hands on one of each of the 2024 Tour Series discs from Discraft, and man, have they really pushed the limits on what can be done with plastic. This is Jawbreaker Z Flex for this season, and with that Z Flex, the plastic is a little bit more bendy with a little bit more give and a little bit more tack. So I think a lot of people are going to love it for the way they feel. And then also with that Jawbreaker mixed in, these discs look absolutely incredible. I mean, some of these with the colors and just the, like, I mean, this is insane. So definitely check these out. But the most important thing about our disc is the way it flies. With that being said, let's get into the video and give these a quick spin. First up, we have Paul McBeth's disc, and in past seasons, he has gone with the Luna, but this year he's decided to bump it up and go with the Luna OS. I mean, the Crate OS. I mean, the Kratos, my apologies. But this has a bead on it, so it should be a little bit more oval stable than the Luna, but let's see how she flies. Yep, that's exactly how you'd want that disc to fly. It has a nice dependable fade. You're not gonna worry about that flipping up, even into a little bit of a headwind. So I think that Kratos, as a Tour Series disc, and this plastic especially, feels awesome. Let's get into the next one. We have the Brodie Smith Zone OS. This thing is already a beefcake. In this plastic, it might be even more oval stable. It also works for this plastic. I think it feels great. Let's throw it on Anheuser and see how fast it fights out. Right away. I mean, just right away. It's like, it has no business wanting to go right at all. It just wants to fight out of that, go left. Insanely consistent disc. Such a good wind fighter. Such a good distance control disc as well. We've got the Adam Hammis Zone, and I actually like a little bit softer plastic for my zones to begin with, especially for forehand. So I think this disc really works well with this plastic. I'm gonna throw it backhand just to keep it consistent, but it's nice and flat top as well, just like you want a zone to be. Let's put a little bit of Annie on it and see how it fights out. So nice. So obviously not as oval stable as the Zone OS, but it flies like a zone should. Let's get into the next one. We got the Chris Dickerson Buzz, a nice slight dome to it. Feels pretty decent. Not too gummy, you know, it is pretty warm out here as well. It's not a cold day by any means. And this plastic isn't just completely falling apart. It still is kind of holding up, even though it is that Z Flex. So let's see how this one flies. We're gonna try to throw it pretty much flat and see if it goes straight for us. Okay, I put a little bit of tone on it and it held. So yeah, a pretty straight flying disc. I did put a little bit of Annie on it, kind of held that angle. So that's like a Buzz should be, kind of a point and shoot disc. This technically is not a Tour Series disc, but it is Paulie Libery's Captain's Raptor. If I don't include this in the video, I might get cut from the team, so I got to include it. But this was actually the first disc to come out in this plastic, and as a Captain's Raptor in this plastic, it works really well. Very oval stable. I'm going to put it on a little Annie. Again, watch it flex out. Okay, yeah, well, I said little Annie. Very little Annie, but as you can see, it still fights out super quick, goes straight left. A nice oval stable Captain's Raptor like you would expect. Next up, we've got the Alan Gossage, the Gooseman. We got the Raptor. Nice feeling disc as well. This plastic, honestly, I don't like Z Flex usually, but this does feel pretty good. I'm gonna throw this one pretty much flat and see how it pushes. It definitely shouldn't be as oval stable as the Captain's Raptor, but let's find out. Okay, I threw that one pretty well. Pretty straight flyer, and then a nice consistent little finish at the end. It's a Raptor, that's what you want. Let's get into the next disc. Paige Pierce, she has gone with the Fierce, her putter, in previous years, but this year has bumped it up to the Passion. I'm glad she did. As you guys know, this is one of my favorite molds. Let's see how it flies in this Z Flex Jawbreaker plastic. Oh, we got a couple of pedestrians. We don't want to cause any damage. Let's hold up for a second. Oh, it's so nice. Yes, that's exactly. So I love a good Passion when it's nice and stable. So out of the box, like an ESP stock Passion is usually pretty flippy, but you get some of these more premium plastics and it's actually kind of stable. So like that one, threw it tiny bit of hyzer, flipped up, pushed straight, baby fade. I love that. I love that for the Passion. Next up, we have Holland Handley Vulture, she went with the Vulture again. The Vulture's a great mold. Let's see how it flies in the Jawbreaker Z Flex plastic. It flies absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's a nice stable Vulture, so you're not gonna get a whole lot of flip out of it. It pushed straight, had a little baby fade to it. Honestly, kind of a similar flight to the Raptor without quite the finish, but it's also gonna have a little bit more distance. So let's get into the next one. We have the Valerie Manduhano Squatch. I know a lot of people love this Squatch. I myself bag one. And then I should also say too, with these stamps, it's actually double stamped. So we have the kind of the two-tone with like the gold and the purple, but you can get all kinds of different combinations. So not only do they look sick with the Jawbreaker mixed in with the Z Flex, but they also double stamped them. Let's see how this Squatch flies. Should be kind of unstable. I'm gonna pop it on some hyzer, hopefully flip up, and then just glide for days like Squatches typically do. Hyzer, flips, turns, glides, holds. Look at that flight though. Still fades at the end. Squatch has to be one of the absolute best discs for people looking for easy distance. Let's get into the next disc. All right, we have Missy Gannon, who went with the Thrasher for this season as well. And like I said before, guys, this Jawbreaker just looks insane. I mean, like, that is just, it's incredible. Let's see how this flies. Usually pretty unstable. I'm gonna pop on some good hyzer, and then it should be a little bit more flippy than the Squatch was. Let's see how she flies. Nice hyzer. Okay, so in this plastic, it's actually a little bit more stable than a Thrasher typically is. I like that. So if you want a little bit more oval stable of a Thrasher, you can pick up the Tour Series Thrasher from this season. That actually flew really well. I put that on a little bit of hyzer, flipped up, pushed straight, and then faded. Next up, we got the Force. Corey Ellis has gone with the Force yet again. Again, just an insane looking disc with the way the plastic looks. Nice dome to it. Feels pretty good. Honestly, I didn't have a whole lot of hope with drivers in this plastic, but this feels pretty good. Let's see how she flies. Should be oval stable. It is a Force after all. It is indeed oval stable. That's great. Yeah, a tiny little bit of flip. Kind of what you expect from a Force. Flies pretty great. Next disc. All right, we have Anthony Barella, who is the chess.com champion. He just won down in Florida, and he has gone with the Venom for his 2L Series discs. I bag a Venom. I think they're great. Usually a little bit more oval stable than the Force. Let's see if this stays consistent with that and give it a spin. Yeah, so it's pretty similar to a Force. It did have a little bit more bite at the very end, so it did have a little bit more stability, but I mean, they're both higher speed, oval stable distance drivers, so kind of depending on how it feels for you. You might like the Force or the Venom more, but I think typically the Venom is a little bit more oval stable. Last, but not, well, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it this year. Let's just see how it flies. We've got the Ezra 8-hold NUKE. Nice and domey, pop toppy with that Z Flex plastic. Let's see if we can get this bad boy over 500 feet. It is a NUKE after all, and they kind of built to go far. So if it can't go far, it's kind of useless, but let's see if we can get a good move on it. All right. Oh, nice tone. Nice little fade. Nice baby skip. Honestly, not as unstable as I was expecting. So that kind of held up, but definitely less stable than like last season's NUKE. So I think if people don't have quite the arm speed, they're probably gonna like this NUKE even more than last season's. And then with the way that disc feels, it's gonna be really good as well. I gotta get distances for this video, and let's give a recap and close it out. These all flew incredibly well. I was actually really impressed with the way they flew. I don't typically like the kind of gummy feel of the Z Flex plastic, but since this is a little bit stiffer than usual, I actually really enjoyed throwing these. The Kratos went very far for being this oval stable and being a putter, but it flew really nice. The Zone OS, it's a Zone OS, absolute beefcake, especially in this plastic. The Zone was definitely not the most oval stable Zone I've ever thrown, but still had a nice little fade to it like you expect from a Zone. The Buzz is a point and shoot disc through and through. Little Annie, it's gonna hold. Little hyzer, it's gonna hold dead straight. It's gonna go dead straight. It's a Buzz. Captain's Raptor, absolute beefcake, especially in this plastic. I think this is more oval stable than maybe any other run they've done of the Captain's Raptor. The Raptor, definitely not the most oval stable Raptor I've thrown, but it still holds up, pushes straight, nice dependable finish. And then in this plastic for the Raptor, I think it works really well. We got the Page PR's Passion. This is a disc that could definitely make my bag. I love myself a nice stable Passion, and not as stable obviously as some of these other discs, but for a Passion, definitely more on the stable side. And just a nice dome. And you guys know I love Passions. It's always a Passion. Next, we got the Vulture, and this flies great as well. Very, very long flying fairway driver, nice and straight, nice little dependable finish. Can't go wrong with the Vulture. Squatch, again, shockingly far. Well, not even shockingly far. Just Squatches go far in general. This almost went as far as the NUKE. And like I said before, if you want easy distance, if you want the glide, the flip up, the push, the hold, and then the little fade at the end, Squatch is awesome. And then I was really impressed with the Thrasher this season. It was difficult in the last couple of years for me to get this thing to fly since it's been so flippy, but this actually flew really nice this season in this plastic. It had a little bit more stability than typical, so it's a really good compliment to those flippy Thrashers if you like the mold and want a little bit more stability. So in the Z-Flex plastic, the Thrasher was great. Corey Ellis's Force. Again, it's a Force. These are one of the more consistent drivers that Discraft makes. And this is no variance from that. Nice and oval stable, nice and consistent. Venom, touch bit more oval stable than the Force. Maybe not quite as domey, so it might even be a little bit more comfortable for forehands as well. But these turned out awesome as well. It's a Venom. And then the NUKE baby. We got some good distance out of this guy. Definitely could push 600 if I got a nice big turn out of it. Nice and domey. And honestly, I was actually really impressed with the way the drivers felt. I didn't have a whole lot of hope for them. I thought they were going to be all super flippy in this plastic, but they actually all held up really well and flew super nice. So even the NUKE held up and flew great. So that is your lineup for the 2024 Tour Series discs. Make sure to check them out anywhere you buy discs or on the factory store for Discraft or probably the team sites as well. If you buy them from otbdiscs.com, use code Ezra to get free shipping. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Definitely check them out. And also hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.